At 60, Linda found herself at a crossroads. She had worked tirelessly for decades, raised her children, and now she was enjoying a slower pace of life. However, the reality of aging had slowly started to settle in. Simple tasks that she once took for granted, like walking to the store or climbing the stairs, were beginning to feel more difficult. She realized that her body was changing, and if she didn't take action, these small changes could snowball into something far worse. Linda wasn't alone in this realization. Many of her friends, colleagues, and even family members had begun to experience similar signs. They'd talk about how their energy levels had decreased, how they couldn't keep up with their younger selves anymore, and how they were feeling more fatigued than ever before. It was time for Linda to face the inevitable. Aging was a reality she could no longer ignore. But rather than letting it overwhelm her, Linda decided to take control of her health. She understood that the choices she made now could influence how well she aged in the coming years. Linda was determined not to be defined by her age, but to embrace it with wisdom and strength. So, she began her journey to improve her health, knowing that with the right habits and mindset, she could continue to live a fulfilling, energetic life for many years to come. The first thing Linda changed was her level of physical activity. She had always enjoyed being active, walking, hiking, and gardening, but over the past few years, those activities had taken a back seat. She realized that staying physically active was one of the most important things she could do for her body, especially as she aged. Linda started small. She began with gentle morning stretches to loosen her muscles and joints, then moved to short walks around her neighborhood. At first, it felt difficult. Her legs were stiff, and she quickly became winded, but she didn't give up. With each passing day, her body adjusted, and soon her walks became longer, and she began to feel more energized. One thing Linda learned was that it wasn't about pushing herself to run marathons or take on intense workout routines. It was about consistency. Simple activities like walking, swimming, or even light yoga can have a profound impact on maintaining mobility and strength in older age. These activities help improve circulation, maintain a healthy heart, and keep the muscles from weakening. Linda made sure to include regular physical activity in her routine. She found that moving her body every day, not just for exercise, but for enjoyment, was one of the best things she could do for her health. Whether it was a leisurely walk in the park, doing stretches before bed, or a light dance session to her favorite music, Linda discovered that keeping her body moving was the key to staying strong, mobile, and vibrant well into her later years. Along with physical activity, Linda knew that her diet needed an overhaul. As she aged, her metabolism slowed down, and she realized that what she put into her body had a more significant impact than ever before. She made the decision to prioritize nutrition and feed her body with the nutrients it needed to stay healthy and strong. Linda started by cutting back on processed foods and focusing on whole, nutrient-dense options. She made sure to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. One of her favorite changes was incorporating more leafy greens like kale and spinach, which were rich in vitamins and minerals. She also began experimenting with plant-based meals, adding more beans, lentils, and nuts to her diet. Linda was amazed at how quickly her energy levels improved after making these dietary changes. Linda also paid close attention to hydration. As we age, our sense of thirst can diminish, and dehydration can become a common issue. She made it a point to drink more water throughout the day, along with herbal teas to keep her body properly hydrated. She noticed a significant difference in her skin, digestion, and overall vitality after committing to staying hydrated. But perhaps the most important dietary change Linda made was focusing on portion control. In her younger years, she could eat large portions without giving it much thought. But as she aged, she noticed that overeating led to weight gain and feelings of sluggishness. By eating smaller, balanced meals throughout the day, Linda was able to maintain a healthy weight, boost her metabolism, and feel more energetic overall. As Linda continued to focus on her physical health, she realized that maintaining mental well-being was just as important. Aging can bring a host of emotional and mental challenges, from feelings of loneliness and isolation to increased stress and anxiety. Linda was determined not to let these challenges take over her life. Instead, she began exploring ways to nurture her mental health and keep her mind sharp. One of the first things Linda did was incorporate mindfulness practices into her daily routine. She began meditating for 10 to 15 minutes every morning, focusing on her breath and clearing her mind. This simple practice helped her reduce stress and anxiety, allowing her to start each day with a calm and focused mindset. Linda also made time for reflection, journaling about her thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Another key part of Linda's mental health journey was staying socially connected. She knew that isolation could have a negative impact on her emotional well-being, so she made it a point to stay in touch with family and friends. She began attending local community events, joining book clubs, and inviting friends over for tea. These social interactions not only lifted her spirits, but also helped her maintain a sense of purpose and connection to the world around her. Linda also prioritized mental stimulation. She loved learning new things and keeping her brain engaged. Whether it was reading books, solving puzzles, or taking an online class, she kept her mind sharp by staying curious and open to new knowledge. She realized that keeping her mind active was just as important as keeping her body active for maintaining a healthy, fulfilling life. Linda learned that as she aged, rest and recovery became more crucial than ever. While staying active and eating well were essential for her health, she also recognized that her body needed time to recover. Overexerting herself or sacrificing sleep could have negative effects on her overall well-being. She started prioritizing quality sleep, making sure to get 7 to 8 hours every night. She created a calming bedtime routine, including light stretching, reading, and drinking a cup of chamomile tea to unwind. Linda found that getting enough rest not only improved her energy levels, but also helped her body recover after physical activity. She also made time for relaxation during the day, whether it was taking a short nap in the afternoon or simply sitting in her garden and enjoying the sunshine. Linda learned that rest wasn't a luxury. It was a necessity. By allowing her body and mind time to recharge, she was able to maintain a balanced lifestyle and avoid burnout. Linda came to understand that aging didn't mean she had to slow down in every area of her life. It simply meant learning to listen to her body, giving it the proper care and attention it needed, and finding ways to rest and recharge. She realized that by embracing rest as a vital part of her routine, she could continue to live a healthy and active life for many years to come. As Linda's physical and mental health continued to improve, she recognized another crucial aspect of aging gracefully: strong social connections. As we age, it's easy to feel isolated, especially if family members live far away or friends pass on. However, Linda understood that having a strong support network was essential for not only emotional well-being, but also overall health. Research has shown that maintaining meaningful relationships and staying socially engaged can increase longevity and prevent feelings of loneliness and depression. Linda started making a conscious effort to connect with people around her. She reached out to old friends she hadn't seen in years, reconnected with her neighbors, and even joined a local walking group. Being part of a community, even in small ways, gave her a sense of belonging and purpose. She realized that socializing didn't need to involve big events or gatherings. Even a simple phone call, a letter, or a quick chat over the garden fence could make a huge difference in how connected and supported she felt. Linda also made sure to spend time with her family. Her children and grandchildren had always been a big part of her life, but she realized that as they grew older, they too had busy lives. Linda was proactive in making time for them. She would invite them over for dinners, plan weekend outings, or offer to babysit her grandchildren. These moments helped her feel relevant and needed in their lives. As she became more intentional about her relationships, Linda found that the effort paid off in ways she hadn't expected. Her emotional health improved, and she began feeling more energized and positive about the future. Through her connections with others, Linda found joy in sharing stories, laughing, and supporting those she loved. She realized that the quality of her relationships, whether with family, friends, or community, was just as important to her overall health as the other habits she had been focusing on. One of the most powerful lessons Linda learned as she embraced her 60s was the importance of maintaining a positive outlook on life. While aging brought about certain limitations, it also brought new opportunities for growth, learning, and reflection. The key to aging gracefully, Linda discovered, was not to dwell on the losses or the changes, but to focus on the gains and the opportunities that still existed. Linda made it a daily practice to reflect on what she was grateful for. She would take a moment each morning, before her day got busy, to list a few things she appreciated: her health, the loving relationships she had, the roof over her head, and even the simple pleasures of nature, like the sound of birds chirping outside her window or the sight of flowers blooming in her garden. This practice of gratitude helped shift her perspective. Instead of focusing on what she couldn't do, Linda chose to focus on what she still could do. It wasn't always easy, especially on days when she felt more fatigued or discouraged, but she found that even on her toughest days, there was always something to be thankful for. She began to understand that having a positive mindset was a choice that had the power to transform her experience of aging. Linda's attitude also began to rub off on those around her. Her children and grandchildren, who visited regularly, began noticing her renewed energy and optimism. They were inspired by how she approached life with a sense of calm, resilience, and humor, even in the face of challenges. By cultivating a positive attitude, Linda not only improved her own life, but became a beacon of hope and strength for others in her circle. With the physical, mental, and emotional changes she had embraced, Linda began to discover a deeper sense of purpose in her life. At 60, she realized that the days of raising children, advancing in her career, and juggling countless responsibilities had given way to a more peaceful, but equally important, phase of her life. This new chapter, however, didn't mean she had to stop striving for something meaningful. It simply meant redefining what purpose meant for her. Linda began to find joy in mentoring others. She had always loved teaching and helping people, and now, in her later years, she saw an opportunity to pass on her wisdom and experiences. She started volunteering at a local community center, offering guidance and support to younger women who were navigating similar life challenges that Linda had once faced. Whether it was helping someone with a career change or offering advice on relationships, Linda realized that her experiences could offer valuable lessons to others. Additionally, Linda became more involved in advocacy for elderly health and well-being. She participated in local groups that aimed to raise awareness about aging and the importance of supporting seniors in the community. Her involvement in these causes gave her a renewed sense of mission, and she felt proud to be making a positive impact in her community. It was a reminder to her that no matter your age, you could always find ways to contribute and create change. Through these experiences, Linda rediscovered a sense of purpose that had been missing for a while. She realized that while her career and family life had been fulfilling, the true purpose in life is constantly evolving. Embracing this new chapter with an open heart and mind allowed Linda to continue growing, even in her later years. Another important lesson Linda learned during her 60s was the power of adaptability. Life, especially as we age, is constantly changing. Our bodies, minds, and environments evolve, and to thrive in this new phase, we must be flexible in our approach to life. At first, Linda had struggled with accepting that certain aspects of her life had changed. She couldn't walk as far as she once did, and her energy levels weren't what they had been. But over time, she began to adapt to these changes. She found new ways to stay active, like joining a gentle yoga class for seniors, and she learned to enjoy slower, more mindful activities like gardening and knitting. Linda discovered that her adaptability didn't just apply to physical activities. It also extended to her daily routines and mindset. She used to be a person who thrived on a busy schedule, juggling work, family, and social obligations. Now, with more time on her hands, she embraced a slower, more intentional pace. She learned to savor each moment, whether it was a quiet afternoon, reading a book, or spending time with her grandchildren. By being flexible in her expectations of herself and her life, Linda found a greater sense of peace. As Linda approached her 70s, she reflected on all that she had learned over the past decade. She felt proud of the healthy habits she had cultivated, the relationships she had nurtured, and the new sense of purpose she had found. But more than that, she felt a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunity to continue growing, learning, and living fully in her later years. She understood that aging is not a one-size-fits-all experience. Everyone's journey is unique, and the key to healthy aging lies in embracing the changes with grace, compassion, and resilience. Linda realized that her story was just one of many, and by sharing her experiences, she hoped to inspire others to take control of their health and happiness in their own lives. Looking ahead, Linda was determined to continue living a vibrant, meaningful life. She knew that the coming years would bring new challenges, but she also knew that she had the tools and mindset to face them head-on. Her legacy, she hoped, would be one of strength, adaptability, and the belief that age is just a number. As long as she had the will to live, Linda would continue to thrive, knowing that she had lived her life to the fullest. As we close the chapter on Linda's inspiring journey, we are reminded that aging is not a decline, but a transformation. A chance to embrace new possibilities, new habits, and a deeper understanding of ourselves. Linda's story teaches us that no matter our age, we can continue to live with purpose, vitality, and joy. Through her experiences, we've learned that aging gracefully is not about avoiding change, but about adapting, finding meaning in the present, and taking proactive steps to nurture our physical, mental, and emotional health. The habits Linda embraced, staying active, nurturing relationships, practicing gratitude, and staying flexible, show us that aging can be a time of growth, not just decline. Linda's journey reminds us that health and happiness are lifelong pursuits. Even as the years pass, it's never too late to prioritize self-care, set new goals, and live with passion and intention. The final years of life are just another chapter, and the story is still being written. So, whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, remember that the choices you make today shape the life you'll live tomorrow. Just as Linda discovered, there is always room to grow, to learn, and to live well, no matter how many candles are on your cake. Thank you for joining us in celebrating the wisdom of aging and the power of embracing each day with grace. The best is yet to come. Let's make every year count.